Hello girls, gays, and non-binary babes. Welcome back to my channel. If you are new, my name is Boston, and today we're talking about some really good fall books to add to your fall TBR. So this will be the first of many fall / Halloween bookish videos, and so basically this is just a general recommendation list, I guess, and it includes some atmospheric books, some scary books, some whatever, a little bit of everything, if you will. But I will stop rambling and we will just get on with the video. So the first book I actually am currently in the middle of, and that is A Lesson in Vengeance by Victoria Lee. This is a YA dark academia thriller, I guess, and it follows a girl going to this what's the word I'm looking for? Very elite school, and she has some secrets in her past. She just the past year lost her best friend, and she's dealing with that, and there's a little bit of witchcraft. There's a new girl at the school, and she's kind of famous, and it's sapphic, and I am loving it so far. I literally started this yesterday and I'm already on page 250, so I'm really loving it, and it's perfect for fall. It just has all the right vibes, and it's very witchy and very dark and gothic, and I could not recommend it more, especially for your fall TBRs. The next book I have is also YA, and that is House of Hollow by Crystal Sutherland. So this is another YA horror, and this follows a girl who is part of a trio of sisters, and when they were very young they went missing and then reappeared, and they don't know what happened to them. Nobody knows what happened to them, and it's about 10 years later, and the eldest sister once again goes missing, and there's a whole lot of mystery and intrigue in this one, and very atmospheric, very creepy and eerie, and if you like that stuff then you definitely need to add this one to your TBR. I have barely heard anybody talking about this, so I have to say something. It is so excellent, and like I said, just so atmospheric and perfect fall vibes. Perfect. Okay, so now we're gonna get into the adult books that I have to recommend, and we have one outlier that is a nonfiction, so I'm gonna talk about that now, and that is The Mothman Prophecies by John A. Keel. You probably have heard about this. If not, you've heard about the movie, and I feel like everybody knows about this story in some way, shape, or form, and I really liked this book. It was so creepy. If you're looking to get scared, this is a really good one, because nothing scares me more than nonfiction scary stories. This happened to somebody, and it's so terrifying. Even if you don't really believe in supernatural kind of stuff, it's really creepy and eerie to read about regardless. So definitely recommend this. If you're living under a rock and you don't know what this is about, this is kind of the origin of Mothman and where that legend comes from. It also has to deal with a lot of alien stuff and conspiracies, I guess, and it's very weird and creepy, and yeah, definitely recommend this more than the movie. I did not really like the movie. I mean, probably for the time it was done it was good, but it just does not hold up well, so yeah, definitely recommend this one instead. Okay, so the next book I don't actually own a copy of, but that is Yellow Jessamine by Caitlin Starling. Caitlin Starling is such an excellent horror writer, and this novella was no exception. I just loved the atmosphere of this one. It follows a woman who owns this company, and basically it's, I want to say like the late 1800s probably it takes place, and she owns this, I guess, like fleet of merchant ships, I think, and she's docking in this port and everybody starts getting sick. There is a virus going around and she thinks it's her fault, and there's just a lot of layers to it, and it's also sapphic, and honestly the atmosphere of this one just really pulls you in. You can feel like the fog on your skin, and you just feel like you're walking through a city with gray skies, and you know, late 1800s, and there's a plague, and it was really good. And if you're looking for another atmospheric one, definitely recommend this. It wasn't really scary at all, so if you don't like scary books, then this one is for you. Alternatively, if you do like scary books, the next recommendation I have is Nothing But Blackened Teeth by Cassandra Khaw. This actually comes out in October, so be on the lookout for it, but you need to add it to your TBRs, I promise you. This one is kind of reminiscent of The Haunting of Hill House, but way better in my opinion. I adored this book and it was so fantastic. So what we have here is a group of friends going to this haunted mansion in Japan, I think, somewhere in East Asia, and it has a lot of lore surrounding it. Basically, this group of friends are going for a pre-wedding celebration for two of the friends in the group that are getting married, and the group dynamic is very interesting. It's not what you'd really expect. There's a lot of drama, there's a lot of things that have happened before this book starts that we don't really know about, that has caused the group to kind of crack in ways, and I love it. I love it. It's so creepy. I mean, you look at the cover and you're like, yeah, that's gonna be a creepy book. Please pick this up when it comes out. Like, if you like The Haunting of Hill House, you like haunted house stories in general, then you'll like this one. It's also super short, so yeah, it's a win-win. So next up I have another arc actually, and this one also comes out in October, so keep your eyes peeled, but that is The Death of Jane Lawrence by Caitlin Starling. I told y'all Caitlin Starling is a master of horror, and this is once again no exception. So this one follows a woman who gets married to this doctor because she is getting older and isn't yet married, and that's kind of like a taboo kind of thing. So she just decides to get married to this doctor because he needs a wife, she needs a husband. It's a marriage of convenience. It works out. So that's all I'm going to tell you about this, because the less you know, the more you will enjoy this, I promise. It's so wild, and the ending was so insane. I was so not expecting what happened, but yeah, this one's really good. Be on the lookout for it. Very atmospheric, and also has a like twinge at the end of scary. So if you're into scary books, there you go, you're welcome. So now I've got a couple of like cryptid books to talk about other than the Mothman prophecies. The first one being Empire of Wild by Sherry DeMaline. This is one of my favorite cryptid books, one of my favorite books in general. This follows a woman who, basically it's a story about, I can never remember the name. It is called a Rougarou, which is basically like a werewolf kind of creature, and It is an Indigenous Canadian legend, and oh my goodness, this was so well done. And it kind of reminded me in a way of Salem's Lot. I think kind of like the preacher vibes of it. Definitely recommend this one, especially if you are interested in stories that stem from real life legends. Then this one's for you. It was so incredible and so creepy and weird, but fun and atmospheric. And yes, definitely need to put this on your TBRs, because once again, I've seen nobody talking about it, so please please add this to your TBRs. Alright, next up we have another Indigenous Canadian legend, and that is Moon of the Crested Snow. This follows the story of a it's called lots of things. You're not supposed to say the actual name. A knot deer. I've heard Winnebago that's one of my favorite ones. But basically, people come up with different names for this thing. You're not supposed to say the actual name of it because it will call it to you. So, yeah. But if you're familiar with legends and cryptids and stuff, then you probably know what I am talking about. Basically, it is a thing that looks like a deer. It is not a deer. It's kind of like a skinwalker of sorts, but very weird. Very creepy, but this one's not really scary at all. It's almost like an atmospheric, low-key cryptid story. Like, I didn't even really pick up on it until the very end, and it wasn't really scary at all. I mean, it's more psychological. It follows this community of Indigenous Canadians in their community, like I said, and basically the whole world is going to shit. There is it's like an apocalypse kind of thing, and they have to survive. Basically, they have the means to be able to survive easier than people who are outside of this community. And it's very interesting. Like I said, it's psychological, and it also has hints of cryptids. So yeah, really love this one. This one's also pretty short as well, so highly recommend. Next up, we have a pretty popular book, I will say, at least on my radar, but that is The Year of the Witching by Alexis Henderson. This is I think this is actually YA, but it kind of read more adult. Oh yeah, this is priced as an adult book, so this is adult. But basically, this is a horror book that follows a girl living in this kind of cult, and she accidentally summons some shit, and shit happens. Shit goes down. I'm not gonna say any more than that because, like I said, it's fun. Most of these books it's fun to find out as you go, and that's what I love most about a lot of horror, so that's what I recommend doing. But if you have not read this one yet, you need to. It's so good. And the romance, usually romance is hard to get me on, but the romance in here was really good. It was really good, and I really liked it. So once again, please put this on your TBRs. It's fantastic. Okay, and the final book I have to talk about is La Petite Mort by Olivia Blake. If you don't know, Olivia Blake wrote The Atlas Six, which is currently getting some hype, and I decided to pick up her other work. So I read La Petite Mort. It was so good, and if you're into vampires and that New Orleans vibe, then you will really like this. Once again, super short, and it basically follows this woman who comes into this inheritance, and this inheritance is what she thinks is a house, but is actually a hotel for creatures like human creatures, like werewolves, vampires, kind of stuff like that. Basically like a stopping point, a hotel, whatever. And along the way she meets some vampire peeps, and it's very interesting, very atmospheric, not scary at all. So don't, if you're easily scared, then don't worry about this one. It's not scary at all, but vampires, gothic, New Orleans, but so good. So if you liked The Outlast 6, you read that, then you should definitely check this one out. Even if you just like vampires or atmospheric New Orleans stories, then this one's for you. So that is going to do it for my general recommendation list for fall, for spooky season. I hope you guys are all very excited, just like I am. I hope you're ready for spooky content coming soon, because I can't wait to make it. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. Please recommend some spooky fall books to me down below. I love scary books too, so don't be afraid to recommend those. So yeah, once again, thank you so much, and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye!